everyone. My name is Dr. Kelley Tracz. I'm making a video today for the Concordia College Oboe studio. I'm the oboe professor here at Concordia College in Moorhead, Minnesota. And so as we go through the semester and learn more about reed making, I'm going to be putting out how-to videos of all steps of the process of reed making, so you're able to reference them at home when you're practicing all your reed making outside your lessons and at school. Okay, so I figured I'd just post it on my channel because I know a lot of people, scour the internet looking for videos to help them learn how to make oboe reeds, because they're kind of these very tricky, finicky, mythical things that we're always trying to conquer and master and make us better oboists. So hopefully these videos help you out and you feel a little bit more comfortable going through these steps as you learn how to master your own reed making. If you have any questions or comments that you'd like me to cover in another video or want me to clarify something in this one, go ahead and comment and I'll get back to you. So today I wanted to go over the very beginning stages of reed making. This is after you've gouged your cane. There will be another video about gouging your cane later on, but today we're going to be talking about shaping. So I know shaping seems pretty simple and easy. You put your cane on a template and scrape away and it seems pretty simple. You can actually solve quite a few problems with your reeds if you go back to the beginning and really pay attention to what you're doing with your shaping. If you've had issues with your blanks being leaky down by the thread, the sides opening up towards the top, kind of having weird leaks along the side, in the middle, huge openings when you clip them open, where you fold them, or sometimes you'll have a piece of cane that's folded over at the top and it's kind of breaking apart at the top. A lot of those issues can be solved by how you shape and how you tie. So we're going to go over shaping first, and then there will be another tying video that just go find it on the channel, but there will be a separate video for that. But we're going to do the step before that, which is just picking your pieces of cane and then shaping them on your shaper tip. So that's what we're going to do right now. After I've gouged a bunch of my cane, and I have a bunch of pieces here, I pick a piece of cane and move it forward through the shaping process if it passes 3 tests that I have. Okay, they're quick. So the first one is just looking at it dead on, okay, with the bark side down, so the U kind of facing up. And I'm just looking at it straight here, and you can use, just use the bottom of my razor blade in case here. You can use that and just kind of look and see if there's a big space in the middle there. But basically what I'm looking for is that the piece is straight and not kind of curved down. Now, it wouldn't be that severe, but I've had pieces of cane before where if you really pay attention, you see that each end is a little bit lower than the middle. I call those frowny pieces of cane. Why we don't want to use frowny pieces of cane, okay, is when you fold them over to shape, what happens is those ends that were down, when you fold them over, this is what's going to happen to the opening, because that's the way the cane is wanting to kind of flare out. So when you fold it over and clip it open, those frowny pieces are going to be tied and want to make your opening out of control. So that would result in really loose sides, or your sides not even touching whatsoever. So we need to make sure that it passes that just visual test. The next test I do is I just look at it from a different angle, and I kind of just look like straight down it like that, basically. Okay, so basically what I'm looking for, I close one eye and I look down. You have to make this face too when you look down, or it doesn't work. Okay, yeah, it's fine. So I'm looking for that the U on this side, the curve, stays consistent all the way down, and that it's not kind of twisting as it goes down. Because again, if you fold it over and the U's are kind of twisted at each end, when you fold it over, your blades are going to want to go different directions, and loose sides and sides not touching on reeds are just a no-go. We don't mess with those. It's just not worth it. Okay, and the last test we do is just the table tap test. So I turn it so the bark side is up like this, okay? And then what I'm doing is I'm going to put it on a flat surface, okay, and I'm holding one end, and I'm just tapping the other, and you see that it's not moving all over the place, okay? Now if we go to, let's find a bad piece here. Okay, so if I go to this one, see I just tap one end, you see how that side is lifting up? That's a pretty big tap, and it's only on one side that this is doing that. Yeah, so we don't want to do that one. What that means, this one's doing it even worse, yeah. So we don't want to use that one. What that means is that when I tie it and fold it over, probably one side is going to open up and it's going to be loose and not touch. And then what happens is we use our embouchure to mash the tip together to get those blades to vibrate, and then we develop bad habits, and it's just not worth it. So we say goodbye, we're not bothered, it's fine, onward and upward, moving on. Okay, so we've selected our piece of cane, and then what you're gonna do next is you're going to take some pretty warm water, okay, not boiling, but just, you know, pretty warm, and you're going to put it bark side down in the water like this, okay? The reason we want it bark side down when it's soaking, and when I say bark side down, if you're confused, that's okay. That just means the shiny part. Okay, so the shiny part is down. We want it downward because if it's like this, think of like a boat, like a canoe. If it flips upside down, there's an air pocket underneath, right? So if you soak this downward like that, there's gonna be a little bit of that top of the U, the curve, that's going to be sticking out of the water. So basically the center of your cane is not going to soak as much as the sides. So when you do fold it over and shape it, it's much more likely to crack, and that's just no fun. So make sure that it's bark side down, and then you let this soak for usually roughly like 20-25-ish minutes or so. I usually do that long, or like when it around that time will sink to the bottom, so we want to wait till the cane is soaked enough to where it goes to the bottom. And the other thing I'll do too when it's ready is I'll kind of do a twist test, and I'll take each side and kind of twist it. I can't do that right now because it's not soaked, so it'll break, but it should be relatively flexible. So once we do that, then we can move on to the actual shaping of the cane. So I will show you that next. Okay, so I measure it here on a ruler and look at the overall length of the piece of cane. So coming off my gouger and everything, it's about 75 millimeters, so that would be 37.5 math. Yes, 37.5. So I'm gonna find that kind of roughly on there and just mark it with a pencil like that. And then basically from here, instead of using an easel, I'm going to fold it over my knife. Okay, so this is how I get the kind of seam of the cane to be really compact and not come apart, which I find happens on an easel when you score it with the top of the knife, and then when you fold it in half, it'll break. And so you'll have those kind of like stringy pieces at the top. So I put my thumb here. Okay, this is kind of difficult. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm going to pinch with my other two fingers and then take it off the knife, and I get this nice compact fold that's not apart. Okay, so from there I'm gonna take this, and I'm going to kind of shave off just a little bit on each side. Just kind of putting my knife into the side and then kind of going towards my thumb, just taking off a little. And the reason I'm doing this is because my shaper tip is narrower than how wide it is right now. So I need it to fit on the shaper tip so it doesn't split or just be difficult to get to shape properly. So then we've got this, okay? Okay, from here, I'm gonna take this piece of cane, and I'm gonna put it on my shaper tip. So I put it over the top here, pinch it, and move the arms up. Okay, and then I center it. I'm making sure that it's as center as possible. Okay, and once I've got that, then I tighten it. Okay. And then I'm going to take a new razor blade. Now, whenever you're shaping, I use a new razor blade because you're rubbing the metal on the metal, and this razor blade is just going to get beat up on the edge here. So once I shape a piece, I throw it away. I have a razor blade graveyard on my desk just to safely dispose of them. So it's like a old trail mix thing. So just don't throw them in the trash can. That's bad. Okay, so from here, I'm holding it kind of down. So I'm putting it, it's kind of up at an angle. I'm securing it into the table. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go down this slope here. And I'm thinking you have to be very careful in these very first ones. Think more like downward pressure than kind of going towards your hand, because you just don't want to lose control and accidentally cut yourself. That is no fun. Notice that as I do this, I'm just going against the metal. I am not turning my razor blade from side to side. Okay, I'm staying flat on the shape, perpendicular to it. The reason for that, and you can see, that's a good shape. I don't see any metal sticking out. If I do this, I'm going to be cutting into the shape itself. It is no longer the stencil because I've gone past the metal. I don't want to do that. So keep it perpendicular. Okay, then I usually tighten it just to be safe and then flip it over. And then I move to a different part of my blade that maybe isn't as beat up. To do this first one, I usually have to kind of saw at it a little bit, and I like to go slow on this part just because I do not want to cut my finger. Okay. Same thing, same idea. Be very, very, very careful. Okay. And you can focus on either side. If you have a little bit more on the right side that you need to get off, just kind of scoot your razor blade over. But what you don't want to do is do this, okay? That's when the shaper tip is no longer relevant because you're just cutting into it. Okay, we have a beautiful shaped piece of cane. So we can take this off. Ta-da! So this is ready to be tied now.